Hi everyone, I thought I would create a little instructional video on how to create test banks, so pooled test banks in Blackboard. So what you can do is you can create all of your tests in Excel, all of the questions, and upload them all at once instead of creating questions one by one, which takes a lot of time in Blackboard. So this is a instructional video on how to do that. In Blackboard, you can create a test by making the questions one by one, but that takes a lot of time. So what you can do is you can make the questions in Excel and upload those to Blackboard and then use that as a pool and choose from that pool of questions or those pools of questions that you create. So I've started by making a sample set of questions, and I've listed some of the most common ones that you can use, and the most common ones you will probably use are multiple choice, multiple answer, true false, or fill in the blanks. The rest of them you can also have a look at. So when you make your test or your pool of test questions in Excel, the first column always tells the computer what type of question it is. So we start with multiple choice, which is always preceded with MC. MA is multiple answer. TF is true false. ESS is essay. ORD is order. MAT is match. FIB is fill in the blank. FIB underscore plus is fill in the blank plus, which is multiple fill in the blanks. Short response, and Quizbo, which I'm sure no one uses. So we start with the different types of questions, and this is the format which the questions must take. If the format is incorrect, you will get an error in Blackboard or it will not upload. The second column is the question. So the questions are all in the second column. So you may not see the entire question when you type it, but you will see it up here in this window up here. If you want to see all of the question here, just double click here and it will expand. Okay, so I'll just leave it this way for now. So the first one is multiple choice. So the question starts here. In this question, what city is the United Federation of Planets headquartered? And to answer that, we go to the next column. So San Francisco, and you go to you tab to the next column, and that is the correct answer. Chicago, incorrect. Toronto, incorrect. New York, incorrect. And that's how you format it. Spaces matter, so you must make sure that the spacing is correct. Okay, so I'm going to close this down a little bit. Secondly, we have multiple answer. So the question is in the next tab. So choose all of the members of the United Federation of Planets. So you can choose this one, which is correct, this one, which is correct, this one, which is incorrect, as you all know, and this one is correct. True false questions are in this format. You must start with TF, tab. This true false question, Captain Picard was the greatest Starfleet captain in the history of the Federation. That is obviously true. Essay question, summarize how you would recalibrate a antimatter manifold, and you would put a placeholder and your essay text as so. Order, if you have order questions, precede it with ORD. What is the order of a warp core restart? Number 1, you cut the power. Number 2, you bleed the antimatter. Number 3, you bleed the deuterium. You initiate a dilithium matrix, and you cross your fingers. So that's in the order that it should be. Okay, matching. Match the following animals to their native planet. So a cat with Earth, CLAT on Vulkan, and the Slime Devil on DNAB. Fill in the blanks. FIB. So the underscore blank class of Federation starship commanded by Captain Sulu was the Excelsior. So if you have more than one spelling, you put the first answer here, and if you do not have caps, for example, you put that there, and you can have multiple ones up to, I think, 50. So that's to take that's in case people spell something differently, or so what you would do is you would put in every possible answer that you could think of. Fill in the blank plus preceded with FIB underscore plus. So here's the hardest type of question, which is not that hard. So if you look at the top here, so we set variables. The first variable is A, and that is enclosed in square brackets. In the blank century, B is the second variable, spontaneously exploded across the C, third variable, quadrant. This area was called the D. So after you write that, you tab over once. A, then you tap, that's the first variable. And that variable, the answer should be 32nd. And if you have more than one answer, you can put into the next tab. B is separated with a blank space. So if there's an A question and a B question, you must separate it with a space before you start the B variable. The answer is dilithium. And if there's more than one spelling, you can put them in the next blank. However, if you separate it with the next variable has to be separated with a space. C, alpha quadrant. Okay, and D, another space here, burn. SR stands for short response. Which Vulkan style of meditation do you find the most interesting? So you would have to use the placeholder in the next column. Quiz bowl. This person invented the warp drive on Earth, and who? It's a who, and we separate it with a space. Who is Zephyrin Cochrane? And that's how you do that. So the most of the ones you will use are multiple choice, multiple answer, true, false, essay, and I would say fill in the blank, so fill in the blank plus. But it's up to you. So then, once you do this is important. You must save this as a tab delimited file. Does not work if you save it as a Excel file. So you go to File, you save as, right? You save it somewhere on your computer, and you save it as you give it a name. So I'm saving it on my desktop, but you must choose tab delimited. Okay, a text tab delimited. And you save. Okay, and once you save that, you're ready to upload it into Blackboard. So you go to your Blackboard shell. So I'm just going to go to this testing shell. You scroll down to Course Tools. Click the chevron. Choose Test Surveys and Pools. So I'm going to upload a pool, not just a test, because I want a bunch of questions. I already have a pool here, but I'm going to build my pool and call this Star Trek pool. And you give it a description, essential Star Trek. Instructions if you want. Submit. Then we have our pool. So we need to add questions. You go to upload your questions. You browse your computer, locate your file, and say OK. So I've located my sample Blackboard test, and remember you have to save it as a text delimited file. I submit. If you can do this later, but you can also do it now. You can add points per question. So I'll give this 10 points per question. Submit. These are all of my questions that I have uploaded. And these are questions in my pool. You can look at them individually. Once you have your pool, you can create your test. So let's go back up to test surveys and pools. I'm going to create a test. I'm going to build a test. Test 1, give a description. Instructions. Submit. You have your test created. Now you want to use your questions. So we have our test framework set up. However, there are no questions. So what you can do is go to reuse questions, and there's a couple choices. I'm going to start with find questions. Find questions gives you the option of choosing questions from other tests. You can refine by category or difficulty, but let's say I'm choosing questions from this one, this pool star. So you can choose all of the questions by clicking that, or you can choose specific questions, right? If you want to add the second pool, you can also choose from that pool as well. And then you submit. And there's your test. However, you have 4 questions that I've chosen, but everyone will get the same question if you do it this way. So I'm going to delete these, select all, delete, and I'm going to do something else. And that is, under reuse questions, I'm going to create a random block. Create a random block. Let's say I want some questions from here. All right, so you click that. All types of questions, right? Those are all types of questions. And you submit. So now in this random block, number 1, I can choose the number of questions. There are 10 questions available. As you can see, I'm going to choose 6 possible questions. Submit. So I might want to add more random blocks. So I will create another random block and choose it from a different pool, for example. Choose questions. And in this question, I have, in this pool, I have 4 questions. So in the second random block, I'm just going to choose 2 out of the 4. Say OK. And there's my test. It's not deployed, so I can deploy it, right, by going to Assessments. Click Assessments. If it's not in your Blackboard, you must add it using this plus symbol up here. So I'm going to go to Assessments here. Test. As you can see, I have 1 test made up. I submit. You give it a name, you edit everything that you need to edit. Show the test to students before, open a new window, no yes, make available to students. That will deploy it. It tells you to avoid using forced completion. I would follow that rule. You can give multiple attempts, but on a test I would not. Give a timer if you're timing that test, and the dates. Okay, and you can password protect it as well. So I'm not going to. I'll press submit, and there's my test. So I'm going to go to student mode and test this out. Student mode, I will see assessments. I click on that. There's my test. Click on it, and instructions. I begin, and there's a timer, and you can answer. So here's a short answer question. Type something, all right? Save answer. This is a fill in the blank. Save answer. Save answer. True, here's a true false. Obviously that is true. That's the city, so that's the multiple choice. Order, right? What is the order by warp core restart? Number 1, touch of power. You bleed some antimatter. You bleed some deuterium. You initiate your dilithium. And you cross your fingers. Save your answer. And here's a fill in the blank. And here, which ocean is the warmest? I don't know how that got in. That's from my other pool, remember? I would say that. No, I would say that. Okay. And you save and submit. You should always test your test out because if there's an error, you will get an error. Okay. Usually it will not upload unless you have the right syntax in your Excel file, but sometimes that is not always true, so you should test out your test. All right, and that's how you create a pool test with random questions. Hope that helps. Take care.